Okay, got it.
Got it. So angels, Brostar.
Oh, I like this topic.
There's so much of this topic. I feel like it's fundamental and it's at the edge of my cosmic understanding, my everything understanding. Like I feel like there's so much in there. However, I'm gonna start off by saying angels. When I say angel, I think the closest word that I actually want to be using is meta-terrestrial, but that has
Oh,
a lot to unpack. But meta-terrestrial to me is a supernatural being, and supernatural is something else we're gonna unpack. Supernatural being that exists disembodied to a natural form, right? So when we spoke yesterday or the day before, my definition of angel was pure form.
right, right,
Now, but I'm personifying that with meta-terrestrial. I'm giving it. It's not embodied to a natural form like this, but I am attributing it to a form, a body, right? So there's a lot. There's a lot there. Now, what I wanted to say is meta-terrestrial is a neutral term to me,
mm,
which is why I like to use it. Angel, I think of angel neutrally. An angel is not good or bad, but our
right.
definition collectively of angel is that they are the disembodied, they are the beyond natural bodied people, no, not entities, beings that are beneficial. So that we, right? Like over time, we've given angel good good supernatural being thing. And I think that's absolutely hogwash. I don't want to talk about angels and demons. I think
Right.
they're all the same thing. That also brings
Right.
us to the what you were discussing, which was the fallen angels.
Right. Which, like, if a demon is essentially a fallen angel, and a fallen angel fell because they chose to have free will, whereas the canonical lore is angels were jealous of humans for having free will, even though angels were closer to the light, closer to God. God, right, the light, the source, gave free will to humans.
But
Um,
angels had free will to want free will.
they
To
had free will to either, it was kind of like an Adam and Eve situation. Like you know you can eat the fruit, but you won't, right? So you know you can leave God, but you don't, kind of situation.
meta Adam and
Where
Eve.
humans have the luxury, let's call it, to sin and uh, to
The
repent.
luxury of sin.
The luxury of sin, right? The luxury of repentance and the ability to be forgiven, right, or saved, right, with this Jesus situation, right, the salvation situation. But
Yeah.
coming back from that, fallen angels, is my interpretation of angels is not different, but like we often think of angels as kind of like a catch-all term, whereas I've always grown up with the deep understanding, with an understanding that angels are just are the first level of angels, right? So angels are actually the furthest away from the light of God, from the source.
Interesting.
So we have humans, right?
Is that because they're the closest to God? They're also the
The
furthest away
closeness
from
to
God.
God. So if we think about the layers, there's like different layers to like heaven, but there's also, which each layer comes an embodiment of angels that exist. And the idea is, if you're thinking about it like in a linear way, which whatever is weird. If the source is God, the closer you are to the source, the more light, right? And the more radiant and the more like blinding, the more powerful and the more responsibility. That being, um, what was the word you used? Meta-terrestrial being has. So angels, right? We have angels who are just like the regular angels. People are like, call them guardian angels, right? Because they're the most physical and most kind of common, and the ones that are like known as like messengers to humanity, for example. But then there's archangels, right? And archangels are like personified is not those like cutie cherubims, but like soldiers or like a regal. You have like Archangel Michael, like, and there's a whole like gender conversation we can have about angels, which I think is like really funny.
That too.
And so they're the first order of angels that, you know, like biblically like have appeared on earth, right? Like archangels came to like announce, you know, to Mary that Jesus was on the way, right? Or, you know, whatever. But then there's these other angels that no one really like canonically talks about, but they're there. So there's like the principalities, the thrones, the dominions, and the powers,
Okay.
and the virtues. And then at the top, there's the cherubim and the seraphim. So we're talking about the closer you get to the light, the more radiant it is. So the seraphim actually mean like the fiery ones, and they have 6 wings, right? We were saying a couple days ago, and they cover their eyes with their wings, they cover their bodies with their wings, and they cover their feet with their wings. They cannot touch the ground. Because they're so holy, and they cover themselves as a sign of humility because they're so close to God. And they cover their eyes because they would be blinded otherwise by the light of God, even though they're so powerful and they're so close.
Yeah, no,
Um,
this is like there's so much mysticism in there, and then it's so washed up with Judeo-Christian
yeah.
theology. Like there's so
So
much of that that isn't, it's blowing my mind in a bad way, and there's so much of that that I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah.
let me blow your mind even more. Cherubim
Yeah,
are considered fiery serpents,
yeah, of course they are.
right? So they have 4 faces and 6 wings. And when they come to Earth, they leave their serpent appearance behind, and they prefer being tall and thin and clean cut human looking, right? Which is so interesting. Then we have the thrones. The thrones are like they keep records. You know, you could think of like what happened in the Garden of Eden. Let me write this down kind of situation. So cherubim are like we were saying like fiery serpents, but they're also like depicted as like sphinxes, for example, because of their human faces. Whereas I don't know what thrones are supposed to look like. But they're not like fat babies. You know what I mean? They're not like fat little cherubim babies. And then what did I say? Dominions? Dominions are like you know, like in church where you see like a big picture of like Jesus at the throne, and then you have 4 creatures around. You know what I'm talking about? There's this like one specific icon where there's 4 corporeal creatures, and then one's like
Signs
a
of the
human
zodiac.
looking one, and one's
Aquarius,
a lion, and one's a goat, and one's a
Leo,
bull.
Taurus. The fixed signs of the zodiac.
Yeah, so that's a
Aquarius,
thing.
Leo, Taurus. Scorpio would be, what is it, an eagle?
I think so. Yeah, it's an eagle, I think.
It's not a scorpion, but it represents Scorpio.
So that's a thing. So they serve as like God's chariot, and they dispense his like judgments, carry out his judgments,
They sure
because
do.
they're like minions. And
Looking
then
at
you have
you, Aquarius. No, just kidding. Go
so you
on.
have like dominions are like the middleman. They're like the middle managements of heaven. And so they actually receive orders from the seraphim and the cherubim, they say. And they're kind of like the worker bee angels.
Yeah.
So then there's like, you know, it's weird because it sounds like it's a hierarchy and in a weird way, and maybe
That's
I
exactly
don't
what I was
know.
just writing down right now. Like all these fucking terms put into good and bad, black and white thinking, virtues, powers, dominions, thrones. Some are good and some are not good. Like they're all meta. That's all we need
Yeah.
to know. But I'm getting
Yeah, I mean, none of them don't seem to be good or bad. They just kind of seem to have like roles that reflect certain
yeah.
amounts of light, just
And
like our souls right, reflect certain amounts of light.
No, it's not the same thing.
No, I don't know. I mean, we can get into we can get into that.
I mean,
Um,
I see what you're saying, and I see how I'm categorizing the same thing and saying something else. When you were describing the being with 4 faces and 6 wings, that was the
that was the seraphim.
seraphim. Yeah, okay, we got that. Yeah, my thinking there went to like, oh, 4 faces and 6 wings. Like, how many incarnations would it actually take to fit one being at that magnitude? And then it got me thinking about like, oh, soul shards. Like, my ultimate meta self is big. Like, I probably need all sorts of bodies to incorporate my incarnated being. And I'm not even a seraphim, but we don't know about that. But yeah,
There's a thing in Coptic lore where we sing the cherubim full of eyes and the seraphim with 6 wings.
as different.
Yes, so the cherubim has many eyes, full of eyes. And the seraphim specifically had 6 wings, but also 4 faces, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, man, why not?
Yeah, why not? Which is interesting because in what was, I forget what the last part of the Bible is, where it's like the apocalypse. It's not called Apocrypha. What's the last books of the Bible called?
Revelation?
Revelation. That's the one. They describe like a serpent, right? They describe like a dragon demon, and it's like this demon with 7 faces, and like how different is that from like the seraphim?
Well,
It's not.
apparently it has 3 more faces.
I guess the more faces, the the more.
Things for itself. No.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
there is this idea that angels looked all like baby and chubby and cute, but they're like
yeah, no, we're discussing.
creatures.
Okay, so we're discussing a spectrum that probably I'll change my language on this later, but a spiritual spectrum or meta spectrum. What you're describing superimposed on top of that is that same spectrum personified through humanness. I'm also thinking too, like, again, with the humanness projected onto things that we might not actually understand. 4 faces as perhaps having a sensory, device of sight and whatever, all the things.
I mean, imagine if we had that many receptors. Imagine if we had that many
4
eyes.
faces. So being able to see, for example, past, present, future, and through time.
Sure.
7 faces. That's a more powerful being. I can't understand.
Sure. Right? Because you can imagine the face
through 7. Yeah.
Whatever extra sensory capacities, right? Being able to interpret that much more light. That's what that idea I was telling you about comes from, like the amount of light that they can handle in their being, from that metaphysical body that they have, right? So the closer you are to the light, the more.
Okay. So
the more you
now
can
my
process.
question is, it sounds, with this definition, it sounds as though these beings are static creatures. And I know that I incorporate more light as I learn and as I grow.
That's the key with humans.
That's what we get.
That's what we get. Yeah. That's our power.
Non-staticity movement.
I think that's the idea with like the luxury of sin, right? It's like when you step into the light, right? Where you accept this idea that we're infinite, right? And the limitations of our bodies stop limiting us. Then we're able to radiate and to get to higher states of being, even though we're anchored right now, even though our souls are anchoring us away from the collective spirit, we still have access to collective spirit. We can get there. Maybe angels, like you said, have this very static function because they're responsible for whatever those realms are, right?
I
For
don't
whatever
think
those
they're
levels
static
are.
though. I'm just saying back what I
Yeah,
heard the
yeah,
definition.
no, you're okay. Yeah. But like even if they're not static, right? Maybe they're not. But
Like, am I personifying an angel by thinking it grows too? I'm not sure.
does it need to?
It's
And
really
is that why they rebelled? Because they
now that
wanted
I
to?
have the question. Or did they want to? Well, I mean, like, yeah, I think they do want to. Is that a personification? Is that a union of me and like if I, there's a lot of questions there now. Suddenly I'm a hybrid who is one and all. Trying to answer that.
God is one.
So am I a hybrid if I'm one and all, or if I'm just the thing? Like that's another human imposition
Mm.
or human, projection.
It makes me think of the Ekon Kar, right? The God is one concept, right? So like one and all, meaning I'm one body, perhaps embodying
Full
the
in
collective
spirit.
spirit,
Yeah.
right? But on the other hand, if God is one and I am a reflection of that spirit, of that, yeah, of that collective spirit, then everyone is an equal reflection of that spirit. So an angel isn't necessarily a better reflection, it just reflects more light
Fair.
because it has a freaking metaphysical body that allows it to handle being closer to that source.
Well, it literally doesn't have something blocking the light.
Yeah. 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 But actually, when we describe angels, like from earlier, like the seraphim, the cherubim, sorry, the seraphim with the wings,
Mhm.
right? They're covering their bodies, they're covering their faces.
To be presented to us,
No, to God.
to God. Ooh, am I
I mean,
God?
maybe
Are we
because,
God?
well, when they come, the idea is when angels come down, right? They take more human forms, right? Just like when you think about like the Greek gods, for example, like Zeus is a good example.
Yeah, good example. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know.
Have we created a new breed of angels by allowing ourselves to think of them? Like, is a non-embodied creature in my thoughts, and I can only think of it through a body? Am I actually creating a new species of soul?
Well, then this brings the whole conversation of the Nephilim.
Does it? I didn't. I think. Okay. This.
Because,
Yeah. This is in the angels episode.
yeah.
There's
So the
gonna be
Nephilim,
a lot of angel episodes. Like
it should.
this whole discourse is gonna actually be about angels, and no one wants to think of it that way. But keep in mind, angels are neutral term is a neutral term to us. At least I don't know, to me.
Well, I mean, the thing is we've neutralized angel and almost bastardized it to mean like
Right.
little naked baby, cherub,
No, 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 no,
Cupid.
no. I don't prescribe to that though.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I understand for sure.
We
Yeah.
have no, but I'm only reacting this way because we have to agree on what you and I mean by angel going forward. And I will never mean angel fat baby. I'll never mean that.
Yeah, I know. I am with you on
But
that.
if you mean angel when you say
No,
it, I
I
have to
don't.
know that. Okay.
So let me tell you a story from a dream I had when I was like 6, and I'll never forget it. I was
Okay.
like, I don't know.
I gotta go at 11 though. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, cool. So I remember it's very short. I had a dream that I was in my church in the community section in the back, and it was a nighttime, and there was a really weird vibe where everyone was at the front looking at, like, there was the back door, and we were kind of like behind the back door looking through the windows, and we could all see an angel floating by in the sky. For some reason, I decided to test the angel, and I remember in my dream, I was really young. I don't know why I would do this. I gave it the finger.
Fucking great.
The angel saw this, swooped down, and then its face in the window went, and then I woke up. I'll never forget it.
Hmm.
And that's when I started questioning whether angels. Why would the angel do that?
Ooh, Brostar. Yeah. Even that other question of what you were experiencing in your yard. This is a
On
life
the forest.
thing for you. Yeah, you've okay. So
So the
was
Nephilim
it an angel?
was. Oh, I still. I after our conversation, I'm gonna go do some checking out. I haven't gone yesterday, but I
Yeah.
will today.
Yeah. No.
I'll let you know. The Nephilim are supposedly the offspring
Yeah.
of fallen angels and the giants that existed on Earth.
The giants.
Hmm?
And the the Nephilim were the hybrid offspring of the, like, I guess, these fallen angels and the
Oh yeah, they're the hybrid of
gods,
half
like
humans
us
and half
humans.
of half angels, and they were like superhuman giants called the Nephilim. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like,
like to come back to the idea of are we a hybrid of angels? Yes.
definitely, but we don't know how or why or how
You
why.
know, like genetically, is it, do we have Nephilim ancestry?
Well, the giants were killed. The last giant was killed by David.
Mm-hmm. Right, Goliath.
Did that genealogy trickle it out? Probably, but the human narrative doesn't want us to not know that. I don't, whatever, like the human narrative doesn't want us, or wants us to believe they were actually killed out, that we were the victorious.
Yeah,
The
that we
human
killed them, just
narrative
like we killed
is
Homo
our story.
sapiens, just like we killed Neanderthals, just like we killed, the 5 groups of like homos that existed. I don't know what to call it.
Homo.
Like, Homo sapiens sapiens, I don't know, Neanderthal. I don't know what.
We are Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yeah, we are Homo sapiens sapiens, but we killed off Homo sapiens. We killed off Neanderthals. So, yeah, this conversation about angels is interesting because a lot of the lore kind of looks like a hierarchy that kind of just like reinforces the subserviency to this like patriarchal god. But like really what we've been talking about has been the power that humans have that are almost like perverse to angels in that lore, where it's like we have the power to sin, we have the ability to repent, we have the ability to access higher power, even though we're in this body, even though we have this like corporeal existence, we still have these channels, right, of existence.
Yeah, I know it. It's like an angel might see that and say, fuck, like if I was a human, I could have it all and I want it all. And
Yeah.
then like, oh, the disappointment.
Yeah, right. Very well said. Very well said. And then, if there are, fallen angels that like just chilling on Earth, right? That, begs the question of like, what is a spirit? What is a phantom? What is a poltergeist? What is a fallen angel? What is a demon? What is,
Well,
you know, good spirit, bad spirit, benevolent,
yeah, we
malevolent,
definitely already have the answer to that.
you
And
know, of
is
the light, not of the light.
that is still important.
Yeah.
That description is still important. All the other descriptions that come from that don't seem to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, sweet. It was lovely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
likewise.
stop recording and we're still gonna talk.